I'd like to welcome everyone here to Monday, March 31st for our regular business meeting. At this time, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and presentation of our colors.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
About face, forward, march.
Please join us in a moment of silence as we reflect on those serving in the United States Armed Forces, both past and present, the elected leaders of the state of Pennsylvania, and the elected leaders of our nation. We have much to be thankful in our community. Please be seated. Next on the agenda is executive session announcement. Subject 3.1, there were two meetings that took place. The first one that took place was on Monday, March 10th, held at 8:30 p.m. at the East Smithson Elementary Room regarding personnel matters. The second one was Monday, March 31st at 6:30 p.m. in the high school library regarding personnel matters. At this time, I'd like to turn the meeting over to Dr. Cushman for the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. Freeze. Item 4.1, French Club presentation. Mrs. Kelly Joyce here.
Dr. Christian, Dr. Soder, ladies and gentlemen of the school board, my name is Kelly Joyce, and thank you so much for allowing us to spend a few minutes with you this evening. We, on February 12th, 26 of our French students boarded a bus here, passports in hand, for a 13-hour trek across the border and up into Quebec for the final weekend of the Winter Carnival in Quebec City. It was an absolutely wonderful trip. The students were able to use the French that they have learned, learn a little bit more French, apply it there, and discover a lot about the culture and the history of Quebec. So this evening, we just wanted to take a moment and say thank you for supporting our trip and give you a few of the highlights of those 3 days that we spent in Quebec. So to do that, I would like to introduce to you two of our French students, Peter and Conrad, and they will be giving you a few snapshots here of what our trip looked like.
So our first stop was the Hotel de Glace, which means the ice hotel. And they had lots of different rooms that were all different themed, and they had carved all the beds and the headboards differently. One of the cool things they had there was they had like a bar, and they had different cups made out of ice, so every drink you had was made out of ice glass. They created a slide made of ice, and you could stay there overnight, and to keep warm, you would go to a hot tub before you actually got to go to bed, and then you would go in a thermal sleeping bag, and then you would wake up and for the rest of your day. Then that night we went to the Sugar Shack, and we ate a traditional Quebec meal with lots and lots of sugar, and we did folk dancing in the back after our meal. And then we went outside and we learned how they make maple syrup, and we got to make maple butter, which you do by churning maple syrup and then chilling it. Then after that, we got to drive our own mush dogs, and it was a very good night.
We also went tubing to the largest tubing park in North America. It's pretty much the size of like a regular ski mountain, except it's all tubing. And there were some 50 tubing slopes, and it was absolutely huge. And you could go in packs of 8 and 2, and our tour guide helped us out to find a way around the tubing place and taught us how to go tubing down the mountain. And there was also rafting, where you had air time and actually kind of, it was very...
It was all very safe.
So we spent about 4 hours just going around the mountain, trying out the different slopes. We also had lunch there.
We also, the students participated in a couple reenactments and interactive plays, which taught them all about the history of Quebec up here. They had to do some French traditions in Quebec, and then also how to load a musket and how to load a cannon. And it taught about the different wars that happened up there. So that was a lot of fun as well.
And the main point of the trip was the Winter Carnival. It was, I think, the third largest carnival in the world, largest winter carnival in the world. And it was a huge expanse of, there were rides, a lot of winter-themed rides like ice slides, tubing on a smaller scale. There was a Ferris wheel. There were huge and elaborate ice sculptures everywhere across the winter carnival. Really a sight, and we also got to play human foosball, which was an experience. And then we also got to go tobogganing down a rather steep and high toboggan run, and it was a lot of fun. It was very packed the final night, and we got to go to the parade, which finished off the carnival. And it was a huge parade, lots of really amazing folks.
And that's just a couple snapshots to show you kind of what we experienced up there, and to thank you for supporting our trip. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming out this evening. Item 4.2, Student Government Executive Council President's Report. Christian Wood.
Thank you, Christian. First is the high school. The high school anchor club completed over 100 log and group hanging Valentine's for the Westlake Booth Family Residence, an emergency housing facility of the Salvation Army. The high school student council organized a school-wide collection to help Red Cross support the victims of the typhoon in the Philippines. Students raised over $500 for this worthy cause. Members of the high school Gay Straight Alliance attended a lecture given by Judy Shepard, mother of Matthew Shepard, at Montgomery County Community College. Judy is an anti-hate crimes activist who chairs the Matthew Shepard Foundation. Their goal is to promote understanding and healing in light of anti-LGBTQ acts of violence. Matthew Shepard was murdered in 1998 while attending college in Laramie, Wyoming. The high school art show opening night will be on April 8th from 6 until 8. National Art Honor Society, Art Club, and Ms. Chavella's art classes are working on a recycled plastic art project. This project is designed to inform and inspire students to create positive change in their environment. Over 100 students will be inducted into the World Language Honor Societies on Tuesday, April 1st. Senior members will be receiving their graduation awards at this time as well. The ceremony begins at 7 p.m. in the high school auditorium. Next is the middle school. The 7th and 8th grade just completed the PSSAs for reading and mathematics. The 8th grade will tackle the challenge of the writing and science PSSAs in the coming weeks. The staff is extremely proud of their students. They are also in full swing with spring sports. The dance committee has done an excellent job hosting our middle school dances, and the next dance is this Friday, April 4th, from 7 until 9. Next is East Coventry. East Coventry hosted 2 evenings of story and crafts last week for those soon-to-be kindergarten students. Over 50 children attended in their pajamas along with their parents. Mrs. Byron from the Chester County Intermediate Unit provided parents with information about a fun ways to get their children ready for the first day of school in September. Next is East Coventry. In East Coventry, there were 2 evenings of story and crafts last week for the soon-to-be kindergarten students. Over 50 children attended in their pajamas along with their parents. I just read that, so I'm going to sorry about that. So in East Vincent, the K Kids and Lions Club have been very busy. They collected items to send to our troops in Afghanistan and made encouraging posters for each other in grades 3 through 6 to display during PSSA to show support for the classmates. Eyeglass collection boxes were made to display throughout the entire school. The glasses will be donated to those in need. PTA movie night was also held on March 14th with a large crowd enjoying Despicable Me 2. The K Kids began a kindness campaign in March. Students created a list of random acts of kindness they will perform over the next few months. In April, they will branch out to the school and put kindness cards in every classroom. Next is French Creek. The French Creek Drama Club proudly presents Pirates of the Caribbean on April 11th at 7 p.m. and April 12th at 2 p.m. in their multi-purpose room. Come sail away with us and purchase your tickets at the door. Adults are $4 and students are $1. French Creek will be welcoming children's book author Eric White on April 14th. Mr. White is the author and illustrator of the Frankie Pickle series, which is available to students in the school library. Next is West Vincent. The Lions Club will be participating in the Penny's Patients Collection to help cure leukemia, lymphoma, Hodgkin's disease, and myeloma, and to improve the quality of life of patients and their families. The second annual International Night will be on April 3rd, where 147 students will participate, representing almost 40 different countries. That's my report. Thank you, Dr. Christian.
Thank you, Christian. Item 4.3, we have many students here tonight to be recognized for their outstanding achievement in inter-county band and music competitions, jazz band. We also have several PMBA award winners and some outstanding wrestlers that are here this evening. I'm going to invite Mr. Hess to the front at first. I would ask, as we recognize each group, certainly want to acknowledge each of our students for their accomplishments. And as we move from group to group, we're going to ask until everyone's been recognized before we go outside for pictures. So right after the wrestlers are recognized, then we'll go out with Mrs. Dracken. Thank you. That would be great.
Good evening. My name is Mr. Hess. I'm the middle school band director, and I'll be recognizing, or help the board recognize our students that were recognized for their excellence in band, chorus, and orchestra this year from the middle school up to the high school level. So I'd like to thank the board and the administration for having us here every March to recognize music in our schools month. It's a good time to be in the music program here at O&J Roberts. Every one of our programs is growing by leaps and bounds. So thank you for your support. We could not do that without you having our back. So let's get started. The Inter-County Concert Band is for students in grades 7 through 9 that are excelling on their band instrument. I'm going to call those students up to be recognized now. Sarah Bailey on clarinet. Come on up, Sarah. David Beiser on trombone. Melinda Burns on clarinet. You guys can head way down over there. Melinda Burns on clarinet. Henry Kronowski on trombone. I don't think I saw Claire today. Claire Hampton played bass clarinet. And Ben Hermine, I don't believe he's here either. He's actually in a rehearsal at this moment. He played percussion. Other students for Inter-County Band were Daniel Morning on trumpet, Shantrea Lilly on baritone, Katie McGrath on trumpet, Julie McLaughlin on flute. I saw her again. Izzy Ravito on flute, Sam Ravito on percussion, Anna Stallman on clarinet, and one more clarinet, Miss Elise Stewart, was also accepted into the group. These students are selected by myself and band directors from 10 other local school districts to perform in a band of about 135 students. It's a good time every January. They rehearse about 3 times, and then they put on a very long and tough concert, but they did a fantastic job. In addition to the Inter-County Concert Band, we have the Inter-County Jazz Band. And the Jazz Band is an audition group. This is a group that you have to show up and play a quite rigorous audition process. So of the students that are here tonight, I believe we have one more that we need to add. Kristen Cornell was recognized for her excellence on playing the vibes. And then standing up here also already, David Beiser on trombone was in the Intercounty Jazz Band. Daniel Horning on trumpet. Julie McLaughlin, who couldn't be here tonight, played flute. Izzy Rodito played piano. And Sam Rodito played the drum set. So these are our middle school, or excuse me, 7th through 9th grade band students. Next, we have, and I'm not sure if any of them are here right now, but we have the PMEA District 12 Orchestra. This is for students, I believe it's grades 9 through 12 orchestra. It could be 10 through 12, but I believe it's one of those groups. And this is an audition group as well, and it doesn't get much more difficult than this. To get into a PMEA group, you're one of the best kids in the state. So the PMEA District 12 was Takugo Amy, Alan Taylor, and I believe Matt Woodward is here. Alan's here as well. Alan played trumpet, and Matt Woodward played French horn. Matt filled me in as he always does. It's 10 through 12. Matt keeps me on my toes. He's not even in my school anymore. So this is our PMEA District 12 Orchestra. In addition to, let's have it around. Yes, a round of applause. So now we get to clap for them again. Because not only did they make it to District 12 Orchestra, which is the first 3 levels, they, Matt and Alan both, you re-audition when you go to that ensemble, and if you're one of those top kids in that group, then you move on to the next level. And both Matt and Alan qualified to move on to Region 6 Orchestra. Okay. We have a lot more to go, so we have to keep moving here. PMEA District 7 and 8 String Fest. This is for orchestra students in the middle school. Again, I apologize, I don't know if these students are here, so I'm going to read the list, and please come on up front if I call your name out. We had Jonathan Arditi. Oh, he is here. Jonathan, fantastic. Isabella Bobo. Henry Karnowski was also called up for trombone earlier. He's way down the line there. Daniel DiMarino. Lee Magnus. And Madeline Simmons. Let's have a round for Jonathan. Okay, moving back to the high school, PMEA District 12 Choir. I believe we have a couple of these students here. These students, again, these are 10th through 12th grade, and they are auditioning for this group. PMEA District 12 Choir was Brianna, oh boy.
Carabalia.
Say it for me, guys.
Carabalia.
Carabalia.
I don't think she's here.
Oh. Thought she was going to be proud of me for getting it. Well, all right. Sarah Helmers. No? Okay, they're shaking their head. I know she's here, so Michelle and Tosha, come on up. Rainey McGowan and Michael Steyer. And then I know he's here. Conrad Sager was accepted into the District 12 choir. Let's have a round of applause. In addition, Brianna, Sarah, Michelle, and Tosha, and Rain qualified for Region 6 choir, which is the second level of the PMEA ladder that you can climb. Okay, next we have PMEA District Band. This was held in February, and is again an audition group for the top music students in the state. I believe it was alto, but she's going to have to correct me if I'm wrong. She's shaking her head yes. On the alto saxophone, we had Miss Bridget Horning. And once again, go ahead. And then they're already up here because when you qualify for this group, you're also usually, when you are in the orchestra, you're automatically in the band, so they're standing up here already. But Alan Taylor and Matt Ward were full double duty. They were in the orchestra and the band. And then we also had Miss Barbara Wadsworth qualified for the district band as well this year. Okay. Alan Taylor. How many groups did you play in this year? He lost count. Alan, Matt counted. Alan was also, let's see if we can count, district band, district orchestra, region orchestra, and then also this last one that we need to, so it was actually 4. The regional band as well, which is just a fantastic accomplishment to play in all 4 of those groups. I'm jealous. I didn't play in those groups when I was this age, so that's fantastic. Nice Nice job, Alan. Now, this is a big one. This is a big one here. Congratulations to Rachel Blumker for participating in the National Association for Music Education All-National Honor Mixed Choir. That's I was just bringing you along to Rachel Blumker. Fantastic job. What a great accomplishment. And I think I might be done. Let's have a round of applause for all of our music students. I believe I'm going to hand the microphone over to the wrestling group next. And I think I saw Mr. Garavlo and Mr. Grilla hanging out back there, so they are.
He's here. Our musicians and all of our award winners are going to have a seat, and we'll let our wrestling coaches and then everybody will go out for their certificates and for group pictures in the lobby.
Congratulations to all our performers. That's wonderful. I want to thank Dr. Christian and the board for all your support and allowing us to do what we do and work with our student athletes. I always feel very supported here, and our program has everything we need to provide a great experience for kids. I also want to take a second to thank Dr. Marchini, and Mr. Burns. These two gentlemen go out of their way to help us and support us and help us do what we do with kids. So thank them. I have three gentlemen tonight that I'd like to recognize. Dom, can you come up first? This is Dominic Petrucelli. Dominic is a junior. Dominic took third place in our holiday Christmas tournament. He was a Pac-10 league champion. He was a District 1 West champion. He took third place in the Southeast Regional Championships, and he was a PIAA state qualifier this year. Dimitri, come on up. This is Dimitri D'Orsanio. Dimitri took third place in our holiday Christmas tournament. He took third place in our league championships. Had a little bit of a hiccup there. He came back the next week. He was a District 1 West champion. He was a Southeast Regional champion, a PIAA state qualifier, and he took 8th place in the PIAA state tournament this year. Next we have Derek Latta, and Derek took 2nd place in our Christmas tournament. He was a Pac-10 league champion. He was a District 1 West champion. He was a Southeast Pennsylvania Regional champion, and he took 4th place in the PIAA State Wrestling Championships. Just 2 quick things about these gentlemen. First of all, Dimitri and Derek became the first, it was the first time in our program's history that we had 2 regional champions in any year. And, you know, our program has a long and, you know, successful history, and I never realized that. I found that out this year. It's the first time we ever had 2 regional champions. And Derek became the first athlete in the history of our program to earn 3 state medals this year. So, and one other thing about these 3 gentlemen, they're good students. They're all juniors, so, you know, luckily for me and Coach Barilla, they're going to be back next year. So thank you very much for recognizing us.
Thank you, coaches. Before folks exit, just one more comment. The value of co-curriculars, and they've often been referred to as extracurriculars. Well, when you dedicate this much time to the types of performances our kids put on, the types of performances our wrestlers in which they compete, that's a co-curricular activity. There is a tremendous amount of learning that takes place, not only in the performances, but in the hours of practice and dedication that our students contribute and our families contribute. In addition, many of our musical, our concert bands, our jazz bands, our kids who sing in the various choruses that we have. They go out and do community service. They perform in a variety of settings. Our wrestling team this past October was out on a Saturday morning on a Make a Difference Day walk and canned food drive. So it's really all encompassing. So I want to thank you on behalf of the school board and the administration here at Ellen J. Roberts. Thank you for sharing your children with us and their wonderful contributions to our district. We certainly appreciate it. I know it's very exciting to hear my report after this, but at this time, I would like to invite all of our award winners outside so we can get photos, and parents can get photos of their students. Thank you. Item 4.4, the superintendent's report. I will keep my comments brief since we have quite a few recognitions this evening. On tonight's agenda, there are two items. Item 13.3, which refers to the board's approval of Act 80 days, and item 13.4, the revised calendar. As the board knows, and as our families certainly know, we had a plethora of snow days this year. However, thanks to the cooperation of our families, administration, our professional support staff, we were able to recapture a significant amount of instructional time. February 14th was an in-service day. We had classes. President's Day, we had classes. On the days where we traditionally have half days and then parent conferences in the evenings, we had full days followed by parent conferences. We're recapturing time on April 16th and 17th, as well as May 23rd. Appreciate the efforts of our support staff, of REA, and our community for agreeing to come in on those days. It certainly helped us recapture valuable instructional time prior to the PSSAs and prior to the ever-important AP exams and SATs, as well as our own local assessment and final exams. Therefore, I'm recommending this evening that the board approve additional Act 80 days, which will give us more instructional days on our calendar, and will give us the ability to conclude school on June 13th. The original school closing date was June 11th. Had we not recaptured a significant number of days and minutes in the current school year, we would be looking at being in school until June 18th, possibly June 19th or beyond. But with the approval of those two items, we'll be able to conclude school on the 13th and have graduation day. So the 13th will be a half day. It will be full days throughout that, full days through Thursday of that week. Friday will be a half day so we can get kids off campus and get ready for graduation day. Pending board approval, this will be communicated to our staff, our faculty, and our families tomorrow. Thank you, Mr. President.
Moving on to item number 5.1, public comment on agenda items. Information, proposals, and statements from individuals or delegations pertaining to items on the agenda. Speakers are to indicate your name, township, or residence, and the items on the agenda to which your comments are addressed. Speakers will be limited to not more than 3 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Bob Rasmussen, South Coventry Township, and I'd like to speak with regard to items 13.3 and 13.4. Superintendent Christian just referenced himself. I'm opposed to any exceptions under Act 80. I understand that some half days were converted to full days and sometimes made up, but not all of it was made up. And for that reason, I'm opposed, and I don't see the problem going past the well into June, further into June than we're going. I'm a computer programmer. I have to compete with folks in India that would like to do my job. Fortunately, I'm old. I've only had to do that for a couple of years. But the folks here attending school now are going to be in the global economy from the get-go. And I don't think any reduction in instructional time is appropriate. In my opinion, it sends the message that instructional time is important until it's not. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Paul Sullivan. I'm in Westminster Township, and I've discussed content and certain curriculum, primarily regarding everyday math. Seeing like all struggle with everyday math for a couple of years now, I've done some research on it. Over 200 top mathematicians and scientists have written a letter when it first came out of the Department of Education, thinking it wasn't a good program, and it doesn't prepare students properly for the modern world. It doesn't really do mastery, it's a very inefficient program. It's given up on long division, and it says kids should use calculators instead, so it's called fuzzy math. The state of Texas has dropped it, California kicked it out before they had the California only edition of everyday math, which brings in a lot of the traditional like work memorization. Other school districts, which also have PSSAs similar to ours and better, have switched from everyday math and gone to newer, more traditional programs like Singapore math. Unionville School District, Great Valley School District, downtown Phoenixville have all recently moved to Singapore math. Singapore is traditionally one of the top scoring countries in the world on math, so 3 of the past 4 years. And I think when we are getting good PSSA grades on math, I think a lot of that has to do with parents teaching traditional math at home, and then the whole college industry based on tutors like Silver and computer learning centers. So while we've got great teachers and we're getting good PSSAs, I think we can do a lot better if I went to a better math program. Thank you.
Next is item 6.1, Committee of the Whole. The meeting of the Committee of the Whole was held on March 10th at 6 p.m. at the East Vincent Elementary School All-Purpose Room. At that time, the following committees did meet: Buildings and Grounds Committee, Curriculum and Instruction Committee, Finance Committee, and Legislative and Policy Committee. Subject 6.2, Buildings and Grounds. Mr. Arnfelter.
Thank you, Mr. Freeze. There was a Buildings and Grounds Committee meeting held on Monday, March 21st, 2014, in the boardroom of the Administration Office at 6 p.m. The committee received an update from Mr. Stephen Parks on the bids received for the athletic turf field replacement and resurfacing of the stadium running track. At that meeting, 2 vendors were invited to present turf replacement options to the committee. We received presentations from AstroTurf and Shaw Sports Turf. East Vincent renovation project, the district received approval from East Vincent Planning Commission to move forward. And that was upon receipt of a sewer planning module waiver from the Department of Environment Protection. The district did receive that waiver, and we will start the bidding process the first week of April. We look to do bidding in April. Hopefully approval in late April, early May, with construction to begin once school leaves out in June. The committee received reviewed a service agreement for Burchek and Smith Engineering Incorporated to perform the preliminary as well as final land development work for East Coventry Elementary School. This agreement is on tonight's agenda for approval. The next Buildings and Grounds Committee meeting will be held Monday, April 14th, 2014 at 6 p.m. in the boardroom of the administration building. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Barfield. Next on the agenda items, Chester County Intermediate Unit, Mrs. Marcus.
The Chester County Intermediate Union Board of Directors held its monthly meeting on March 19, 2014 at the Technical College High School in Christian in Westbrook. The following items were discussed. We had a presentation given to us on a partnership that was developed between the Route 1 corridor campaign in southern Chester County and the Technical College High School at Hendricks Ridge. The students at TCHSP, I guess you would say, were asked to work collaboratively with members of the Route 1 corridor project to create a website. They were given 136 days to complete the process, but they were able to complete the process in just 14 days. Without the students' work on this project, this group would have never been able to raise funds to pay for a website. They put the website up, it's not live yet, but they had to create 6 different slides so that they could show developers what land was close to rail, what the different traffic options were, different numbers of housing development, so that different businesses who come in and use the site decide whether or not this would be a great location for them. So these students were just so excited and so empowered, and the fact that they presented it and had to market it to these business developers gave them this great confidence that they felt like they could go out and reach any goal that they had set. So it was just really cool to see. The other thing that was really neat about it is that it's going to go live in the summertime, but then the students who are juniors now are going to be able to keep working on it, and then the process will go down to the underclassmen to keep it going. And it's just a neat way that our technical college high schools are partnering with communities to give kids real life career opportunities that they're not going to be able to get maybe in their traditional high schools. So that's why I share that. We also have reviewed the first reading and draft of the 2014-15 marketplace budgets. So I think in your white envelopes you have the 4 applicational budgets to review. We'll be voting on that as a school district. If you would like more information, you can either let me know, let Jackie know, and we can even have Dr. Bryan and Mr. Whiskey come out and do a presentation if needed. Some interesting things based on the marketplace budget is there's no increase in school district's contribution to the core budget. The proposed Act 1 index increase of 2.1% to the occupational education tradition rate, and this will be the first increase in tuition since 2011. On prices paid by the Chester County School Districts for marketplace programs will increase 0.98%, and this is also the first increase in pricing since 2011. So obviously the IU is dealing with the same budgetary issues that we are, but they're trying to keep them within Act 1, as you can see. Our next meeting will be held at the Child and Career Development Center in Brooksville on Wednesday, April 23rd, at 8 p.m. And if you are interested, that's just one fabulous building. It deals with some of the kids that have severe special needs, and things they're able to do with them is amazing. We should have a presentation on what's going on new in that school, so if you're interested, feel free to drop by. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mrs. Marcus. Continuing on with Mrs. Marcus, curriculum and instruction.
Okay, so at our last committee of the whole, curriculum was on the agenda for 4 items. We had new textbooks that were presented for science and music. You can expect additional science textbooks presented at the committee of the whole in April as well. We had an update on formula assessment data. Presentation was the 3rd and math placements are coming out, so parents of seventh graders, get ready for those. And finally, the summer enrichment camps are online, and they're being updated regularly with different courses on fall. So you can see that on the report as well.
Thank you, Mrs. Marcus. We're going to the 6.5 Finance Committee, Mr. Stone.
Thank you, Mr. Freeze. I would just like to remind my board colleagues and any members of the community that are interested in joining us at the next Finance Committee meeting will be on Monday, April 7th at 6 p.m. in the administration building. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stone. Moving on to Legislative and Policy Committee. Mrs. Walker, will you do the presentation?
Certainly. There was a Legislative and Policy Committee meeting on Monday, March 24th in the boardroom. And there were policies and regulations that were discussed, some of them at length. One policy, number 701.1, property or naming of school district facilities. And we also discussed the accompanying regulation, 701B, which regulations give you the procedures in relation to the policy. And we were also discussing and being made aware of the regulation for granting original credit for high school courses. And the next scheduled meeting for the Legislative and Policy Committee is June 9th, and that will be in middle school LGI. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Wolf. Moving on to 6.7 Personnel Committee, Mr. McCall.
Thank you, Mr. President. There's no report at this time.
Thank you, Mr. McCall. Item number 7.1 through 7.14, these are consent items for routine matters. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. McCall. Second by Mr. Hughes. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 8, also consent items. Item number 8.1, motion to approve routine matters 8.2 through 8.5. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. McCall. Second by Mr. Kleinfelder. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 9, board communication. Ms. Crum.
There are no communications, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Crum. Item number 10, board discussion. Is there any board discussion at this time? Mrs. Marks.
So, back to the really positive aspect of, being a school board member and not necessarily always looking on the downside. I had the opportunity at North Coventry last month to participate in conferences. And the 6th grade team is piloting a program there where they had student-led conferences. So instead of going in as a 6th grade parent and meeting with my 6th grade teacher, I met with my 6th grade student about her progress. And what they did is they met with their teachers at the beginning of the trimester and created goals based on their standard report card. And they had to look and see the areas that they might need improvement in and set specific goals for themselves. And then through the trimester, they had to collect information that provided feedback for them on their goal, so that at the end of the trimester, they could see whether or not they succeeded in accomplishing the goal or not. And I was really interested in this and how it was going to work. And it was really cool because the kids fully took ownership of the goal, but yet they understood what they had to do in order to accomplish the goal throughout the entire trimester. It wasn't one of those things that they come home and as parents you say, well, this is what I want you to try to do. And you check in with them, it's something that they had to keep check of themselves throughout the whole trimester. And then what they did with their teachers is they had to create goals for the survey out for parents, and based on that information, it's gonna say, okay, what we're gonna do with it next year. And because conferences were condensed this year because they didn't have a half day, they were able to do multiple conferences at one time. So every sixth grade parent and child was able to accomplish a conference. So what happened was there was 4 conferences going on, and our teacher monitored them as we all met with our individual students. So I just wanted you guys to know that it was a really neat opportunity. It came, I believe, from Twin Valley, and our teachers went and watched in the fall how their teachers did it. And then they did it for them, and then did it in the spring. And I think that they were hoping that if it's successful from parent feedback and student feedback, that it was something that they would continue to do in the spring and still have a traditional conference in the fall. But it was just neat because at that 6th grade time frame, when they're moving into 7th grade, having multiple teachers, you want them to be more independent. They really have an opportunity to understand what they're doing and why they're doing it, and they can take a little bit more ownership. So, I just understand.
So was your conference scripted, was there an agenda, or?
She had a notebook, and she had her goals, and she had her evidence for every goal. So she had to refer back and forth to the evidence. So she led it in a scripted thing that she wrote, where I had the notebook, and so she directed me. And then there were a couple things that, like, I would have to ask her about, and she'd have to go back to the data and explain it to me. And like, I'm kind of like, let's see how far I can go with this. There's not even good, But it was, I just kept pushing her, and she didn't back down. And the understanding, especially because it was a writing goal of the writing process and what they're trying to achieve in her curriculum, like, she understood the objective. It wasn't coming from the teacher. It was in her own words. She gave me her own examples, so I knew she understood what she was supposed to do.
Did you miss teacher report?
I had the opportunity to have it because while he was walking around, I was able to grab him for like 3 to 5 minutes. And because in 6th grade, they have a teacher for math and science, and they have a teacher for language arts and social studies. Her homeroom teacher is that language arts and social studies component. So I had a written report from her math and science teacher, but if her goals reflected math and science, it was in the conference material. But I still had that number output sheet from the teacher who I needed to meet with. So I felt that all my needs were as a parent. But I can't speak for everyone, because if you have students dealing with some specific issue, you might want that one-on-one. But for me, I felt that everything I needed was at home.
So the takeaway is that your child gave you a better confidence than the teachers in previous conference?
No, I don't think it was a better conference. I think that it showed me that my student understands her direction, which is impressive.
Item number 11, old business. There is no old business to report at this time. Item number 12.1, motion to approve personnel matters. These are consent items as well, 12.2 through 12.9. Do I have a motion? Moved by Mr. Kleinfelter, second by Ms. Booth. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 13, new business. 13.1, approval of policies. Do I hear a motion? Moved by Mr. Hughes. Second by Mr. Kleinfelter. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 13.2, approval to amend policies. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. McCall. Second by Mr. Hughes. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 13.3, which leads into 13.4, is there anything else we need to discuss about those before we go? Item 13.3, approval to request PD Act 80 approval for the 2013-14 school year. Do I hear a motion? Moved by Mrs. Wolf. Second by Mrs. McCall. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 13.4, approval of revised calendar. Do I hear a motion? Moved by Mr. McCall. Second by Mr. Hughes. Any discussion?
Before the board votes, with the approval of this revised calendar, our students will have, by June 13th, students will have exceeded the required number of hours from the Pennsylvania Department of Education. So that's 990 hours in secondary, 900 hours in elementary, and 450 in the AM and PM kindergarten. Thank you.
Still a motion on the floor. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 13.5, approval of textbooks for the 2014-15 school year.
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Marcus. Second by Mr. Stone. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 13.6, approval of conference attendance. Moved by Mr. Kleinfelder. Second by Mr. McCall. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 13.7, approval of summer employment and appointments. Moved by Mr. McCall. Second by Mrs. Marcus. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 13.8, approval of youth power facilitator. Moved by Mr. McCall, second by Mr. Stone. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 13.9, approval of student activity clubs and organizations. Moved by Mr. Kleinfelder. Second by Mr. Stone. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 13.10, ratification of homebound students. Moved by Mr. McCall. Second by Mr. Stone. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 13.11, approval of over out-of-state student trips. Moved by Mr. Kleinfelder. Second by Mr. Stone. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 13.12, award of bids in accordance with CCIU joint purchasing agreement. Moved by Mrs. Marcus. Second by Mr. McCall. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 13.13, approval of professional services and/or maintenance agreements. Moved by Mr. Kleinfelder. Second by Mr. McCall. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 14.1, public comment. Information, proposal statements, and/or questions from individuals or delegations pertaining to any item. Speakers are to indicate their name and township of residence. Speakers will be limited to no more than 3 minutes. Moving on to item number 15. 15.1, board request for information. Moving on to item 16, adjournment. Moved by Mr. McCall. Second by Mr. Stone. This time the meeting is closed. Thank you.